Have you seen where NAMB has booked the Ritz Carlton in New Orleans for a leadership training meeting? It's the evangelism directors from across the country, but sure enough, I received an email last night that said that North American Mission Board next week is going to be hosting an evangelism training meeting with evangelism leaders at the Ritz Carlton in New Orleans. Now that's exorbitant. That's what I would call luxury, lavish kind of provision for accommodations. Now, there are a lot of other places in New Orleans that don't cost that much, not that elegant, and not that we don't need to take care of our people, but that's a little bit over the top, I think. If I don't know, maybe you don't agree, but I think so. Let me show you this email. This is incredible, and I want to just scan down. It includes some photographs, so I want you to see the photographs as well. But look what it says here. This is just incredible. It just talks about the evangelism directors, et cetera, but the lavish and luxury accommodations for the NAMB meeting there. And the question that's asked in this email is, if SBC church members were aware of how this money was being spent, would they be happy about it? I'm thinking probably not. And then it goes on to say, will NAMB be transparent about these expenditures? If history is any evidence at all, NAMB will not reveal how much they are spending on this meeting or other extravagant expenditures. There have been a lot of questions over these last 5, 6, 7 years, even longer, since the Great Commission resurgence basically took place, that expenses have just been out of range. And the North American Mission Board won't reveal in their budget even how they're spending money. Millions and millions of dollars that are given by you and me through our cooperative program dollars, and we can't find out exactly how they're being spent. That's just crazy. Well, anyway, let's look real quick at this email. I don't want to take too much time, but look at this. This is one of the foyers there at the Ritz Carlton. This is the outside. Now, the Ritz Carlton there is in the French Quarter of New Orleans. So some of you have been to the French Quarter before, but this is the front side. Here's the back side of the building. Beautiful facility, no question, no doubt. Beautiful facility. Look, here's one of the hallways. Look at those chandeliers. That's just incredible. Oh, here's a massage room. That we definitely want to host our leadership meetings for evangelism in areas where they have massage services. That's important. And then here's one of the elegant suites. This is one of the hotel rooms. Look at that suite. Isn't that incredible? My goodness. Who would want to go to the meeting if you could lounge around in that? I mean, seriously. Here's one of the, looks like a boardroom of some sort at the Ritz Carlton. Here's an outdoor patio area for the hotel accommodations. This is a patio area. Look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? Kind of like a breakfast nook, I guess you could say. Here's another meeting room there. This is just incredible, the kind of provision that's being made for this training. There's bound to be other accommodations that could be made available and would be made available. Even if they got a great price on this, it just doesn't make sense when you start looking at the total cost that's involved in meeting somewhere like that, but even just the optics. I mean, my goodness, look at that. Well, let's look at this. This is an article that was picked up from that NAMB whistleblower release, I guess that email. Here it says, the Watchdog Group whistleblower released this email. This is an interesting quote out of the article, kind of what I just said. Even if the NAMB officials were to explain that they worked a bargain of a lifetime and booked guest rooms at the Ritz Carlton for only $59.99, that would be a horrible idea still, simply because of the optics. Have to agree. Have to agree. And then look at this quote. This is something that I think is interesting. This has been surfaced multiple times before, but Mark Wingfield, who wrote this opinion article in the Baptist News Global, he said something just doesn't add up here, and I agree with him. There are stories of file cabinets full of high-dollar gift cards that are handed out like candy to church planters and state convention employees to buy their loyalty. There are stories of employee buyouts and non-disclosure agreements to buy their silence. And there are documented real estate holdings of NAMB owning extremely expensive residential properties in multiple cities. I believe some of that information is documented on the Reform NAMB Now site, Reform NAMB Now. Some of those houses were upwards of 500,000, 700,000, 750,000, and in cities where the North American Mission Board has said they're not SEND cities, what they call SEND, SEND cities, 32 cities, which were their key emphasis cities. Oklahoma City was not one, but yet there were two houses that were there near Quail Springs at that time. There's one, I believe, if I remember right, looking at that listing in Alpharetta, which is North Atlanta. Doesn't need to be a house purchase there for a church planter necessarily. I mean, this article is really incredible when you look at it. Here's some additional pictures that they came up with from the Ritz Carlton as well. So Mark Wingfield has written that, and the gift card thing, that's something that's been long-standing and really absurd when you look at this. I remember when I was the state executive director in Michigan, when they first started doing this with the gift cards, I called and I talked to one of the employees there at the North American Mission Board and said, this is crazy. You have employees, you have staff that you're helping to pay for, who are our associational missionaries. They transitioned them to be church planter catalysts, but they were still employed by NAMB, and they're on the field working with these church plants. And my argument was simply, you've got guys that are out here already, can be face to face with these guys. They can sit down at a table across the table from a church planter and his wife. They can encourage them in person. They can sit there and give them a good handshake or a hug and say, look, we love you and we care for you. And the North American Mission Board wants to give you just a little gift, just a something to say thank you for the sacrifice you're making. And that can be done in person. You know what I was told? In a long disagreement, but I was told, we don't want that. We want to be sure that they know it's coming from us. We want them to receive it from us. It's going to come in an envelope from us. We want to make sure that they know that this is being given to them by the North American Mission Board. My argument is, you already are paying these employees to be there as the face of the North American Mission Board with these church planters. Why not let them give a personal touch? And it was an absolute no. We will not do that. We never will do that. And why? Well, I think it's become pretty well known that it's because they wanted to be sure that they were identified as the one who was giving from the money that they received, and they wanted to be able to get the credit. Why? To buy loyalty, to buy commitment from them, to buy faithfulness from those church planters, so that they would sing the praises of the North American Mission Board, and not those jointly funded employees, those that were funded jointly with the state conventions, etc. I'm going to get off in a deep end here. Let's don't do that. One other thing I wanted to show you real quickly, and then I'll let you go real fast. But this is a Facebook page. Oh, nope. There we go. I'm having trouble finding it. This is the SBC Issues and Ministry Q&A group on Facebook. And I posted this article actually just a little while ago, a couple of hours ago now, about, that came from the email. And look at all these comments. There's a ton of comments down here, people stating their opinions about what's going on here and dialoguing about it here. Rick Patrick, I think he's in Alabama, I think Mississippi or Alabama. He posted this meme, and look what he says here: presenting the NAMB stewardship philosophy. Just pass out the money. That's craziness, insane. But one other thing that he posted later in this thread, look at this. This is talking about the reserves that NAMB has. And I think this is from Reform NAMB Now also, but the reserves are the red line. And the GCR, Great Commission Resurgence, came in the very end of 2010, 2011, 2012. They converted basically all of their staff over to being fully funded by the North American Mission Board. Church Planting Catalyst lost a whole bunch of our North American Mission Board directors of missions all across the country, especially in non-South states. They were just defunded. And so look at the reserves. This went from a very low number, which should have been proper. They are required by law to keep somewhere around 60 million, 65 million, something like that on hand. But look at what has happened to the reserves. They've jumped up here to the mid $200 million up there. And so what are they doing with that money? Why are they putting that much money in reserve? Our cooperative program dollars are supposed to be going not for them to hold in reserve, but to be funding the mission work of reaching North America, trying to shed light on the darkness of North America all across, not just in the South, but all across these non-South states where we need the North American Mission Board's work more than anywhere else. What do you think about this? What do you think about them spending the kind of money they're spending at the Ritz Carlton and other places for those kind of accommodations? Is that good stewardship? Are you happy that your church is contributing to the North American Mission Board and they're spending the money like that? They're holding that much money in reserve, almost $2.5 million. What are they holding it for? What's your thought? What are your opinions? I'd like to know. Well, that wraps it up for me. I hope that you'll state your opinion and let the North American Mission Board know what you think about all of this as well.